my mighty mites. We have some important things to talk about today. In case you've been living under a rock for the last 3 days, don't worry, I got you covered, babe. Jesse Cotton just won YCS Vancouver with Unchained. He has truly let the dogs out by attaining his 6th YCS victory ever, making him the most decorated Yu-Gi-Oh player, as far as I'm concerned.
Congrats, Jesse.
Woof.
So with the success of Unchained, today we're going to talk about one very specific card that came out in Strike of Neos many years ago that Jesse highlighted in his deck list.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this card starts seeing a lot more play, and you might even start playing in your side deck too. But we're going to talk about that after you subscribe, hit the video, like the video, and comment what you think of this spicy little tech card that we're about to talk about. But with all that being said,
and before we talk about this card, I think it's really important to talk about why this card is so good. And that is because the Unchained deck just rose up out of nowhere. In Duelist Nexus, we just got brand new support cards for this that literally made this a tier 1 deck.
The brand new Link 2 is quite literally a custom card that really raised the ceiling and playability of this deck, its ability to manage resources, and its ability to play through interruption. The deck just got absolutely bonkers out of what feels like nowhere. And if that doesn't mean enough to you, 5 out of top 8 slots at YCS Vancouver were playing Unchained, and the finals was an Unchained mirror match between Cody Manabe and Jesse Cotton. That's wild! Unchained is one of those weird decks where you don't want to destroy anything because all of the cards float. And they even sometimes float if they just get sent to the graveyard, not even necessarily through destruction. So your typical side deck cards like Dark Hole, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster even, really feel kind of useless in this situation, and it's kind of reminiscent of tier format where you didn't want to be destroying things because they just come back or have effects that bring things out of the deck. Not only that, but this deck can also abuse other archetypal cards like the DDD Xyz line for some ungodly reason. Nightmare Griffin is back in a deck. Wow, you know it's a really fun format when Nightmare Griffin is telling you to go F off. That was my Griffin impression.
And it's not like they have something in the form of Muckraker like protect all their fiends. And to add on to all of that, it feels really difficult to try to hand trap this deck. Nib doesn't really stop it, Ash isn't enough, Imperm doesn't feel like it does anything. Even though you think would be really powerful, however, when they choose to banish things face down, all their resources that are underneath their Xyz material go to the graveyard. The level 6 dogs all have effects that go to the graveyard, so they just reset their board. They're gonna keep the one monster that actually matters, so you're basically just trading your battle phase for one card.
Oh my god, it's like the dogs are playing fetch because they like keep coming back. That's so cute. Do you think they meant that? They're playing fetch with you.
This deck just plays through so many interruptions.
People are starting to talk about cards like Deck Lockdown. That's how bad it's getting. We should not be playing Deck Lockdown. Let's just talk about none of that. So that brings us into this situation of what do we do against Unchained? There really hasn't been like a solved solution for it yet, until everybody saw this funny little card that Jesse was playing in his deck. And yeah, I bet you my life you've never read this card before, and that's okay. We're gonna read it for you. It's Marionette Mite.
This card may not be something that you are familiar with because it only has 3 common printings. One was in Strike of Neos, and the other 2 was in the Zombie Structure decks. Shout out to zombies, baby.
You can go check out that profile. It's right there. Go watch it. It's a banger. Certified. 10 out of 10. Just like you. So let's read Marionette Mite, shall we?
You can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one fiend or zombie monster your opponent controls, take control of that target until the end phase.
Man, there's some suspicious lack of text on there, isn't it?
I think it's like once per turn.
Isn't that wild?
The only thing that is missing on this card that would make it even more broken than it already is Quick Effect.
True. Yeah, and it targets, which is whatever. That doesn't really matter. But it's not a Quick Effect, which means you can only use it on your turn. However, if you have multiple copies, you can just yoink as many guys as you want.
So the reason that this card is so good is because every card on the Unchained end board is a fiend monster. This allows you to out things like Nightmare Griffin. If it is co-linked or linked, you can just take that Nightmare Griffin, special summon to the arrow, and then you can start activating some of your effects.
Or you can take DDD, What's-His-Face Xyz guy, threaten battle phase, force their little dog to do whatever it's gonna do and yoink your stuff and summon, but DDD guy says no, negate a summon, so you're just stopping them, and then you can make a Zeus. Isn't that cool? 2 plays in 1, baby. That's a combo.
And you know what Zeus does? Zeus detaches to send all cards on the board.
No
it does not destroy.
Us. Sky Daddy coming in clutch.
This is a very good card, not only because it is a perfect 6th card that you can draw going second to try to break your opponent's board, but it also doesn't require any of your engine pieces to do so. This card in and of itself can try to help break the Unchained board, get rid of a lot of your opponent's resources, or force a lot of their resources, so then you can try to play in either still main phase 1 or main phase 2, depending on the line that you chose to take.
Yeah, what's really nice about this card is it doesn't really require you to sacrifice any of your engine. You don't have to like pitch any other cards. You don't have to meet some sort of activation requirement or give something up that you would already be doing. It's a great card to draw into. It's just like live, and it's not one of those weird fluke cards that we're always like coping on to like beat a deck with. It's like, no, this is actually just a really smart tech that actually works, and it's old as hell. So leave it to the Yu-Gi-Oh community to find a really old card and be like, it's 2023, baby. We're gonna use that for Unchained, which is, who would have thunk, winning YCSs.
It's really awesome to have the ability to look at some of these deck lists that are topping from some of these professional players. Jesse Cotton is not only showing innovation with cards like this, but also showing where these players' mindset is at. You have cards in their main deck like Thrust, Triple Tactics Talent, they have Book of Eclipse, all cards that don't destroy to try to prepare for the mirror match.
True, even in their side decks, you know, they had cards like Evenly, they have Daruma Cannon, they have Druisworm, all these cards that basically say, we do not destroy, because, well, in the mirror match, which is very prevalent as we could have seen in Top Cut, is something they inevitably had to face. While Marionette Might is a really cool card, I know it is super hyper specific to only the Unchained matchup. You could technically play it against Lab, but most of the time you can't target the ladies, so it's not really that useful. So I know putting 3 cards in a slot for one specific matchup feels kind of bad, but at the same time, there's really not a whole lot other stuff you can be generically siding for the Unchained matchup. So it is really cool that this tech just came to light, and you know what? Screw it, just try it. If you're at locals or whatever, what's the harm? If you like the card, great, but if Jesse Cotton's playing it, I'm gonna take that man's word to high heaven.
So we just wanted to bring this card to your attention because if you are maybe digging through your bulk looking for like level 3s like tour guide or something, maybe you can find this as well. It is a level 3 dark monster. This card is absolutely in bulk because it is a common out of structure decks.
Yeah, which is also really nice, which means it's really accessible. I wouldn't worry too much about this card becoming expensive. It's very specific, very niche, and is like probably not going to be around excessively long, depending on if they hit Unchained on a ban list we might get sometime this millennium. I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think they're going to hit Unchained, Peepo?
They certainly killed Super Heavy before it got a chance. At least this deck gets to win a YCS or two. But we just wanted to touch on this card and this deck a little bit today because it is really hard to side this format already, and decide for a deck that basically pluses off of destruction is twice the battle because it feels like a lot of cards are absolutely dead against them. But this little guy, this little insect, this little mite, he's gonna get in those dogs like fleas and just eat them or something. I don't know. What do mites do? I don't know. Anyway, comment what mites do if you're into science. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something today. And go digging for your marionette mites, baby cakes. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. We love you. You matter. And we will see you in all these videos over here. And in YCS Cancun, baby. We're about to be so tan. Oh, please come say hi. I love you.